Hey everybody, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 158 on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to all these episodes, or most of these episodes, or maybe just some of these episodes. And thank you guys for following, subscribing, just watching the episodes or listening to these episodes. And also thank you for donating towards the podcast. On this episode, I want to talk about two other comedy shows I went to. Went to a comedy show Friday night at the American Comedy Company. Their headliner was Kelsey Cook. The host was Char Rampton, and I guess the opener was Tommy Brennan. So, we're talking about that. And then I also went to a big comedy show on Saturday at the Balboa Theater. Their headliner was Brad Williams, and his host was Quincy Weekly, and I guess you could say the featured opener was J.B. Ball. I guess if we have time, we'll go over the main event of UFC 297, Sean Strickland versus Dricus Duplessis. The conclusion of the second round of the NFL playoffs. So Friday night. I'm glad it went. I got a text from ACC that there were going to be free tickets for that show with Kelsey Cook, and I figured I'd never seen her before, and I guess she's known for The Hustler. I guess it might be a special or either a TV show, streaming show. Maybe it's a streaming movie. I had to look into it, but I figured, I wanted to see someone new these days, and it was a free show, and I thought, why not? All you have to do is just get 2 drinks, a water. I got a water, and I think I got ginger beer. So yeah, I got in. I might have been maybe 2 minutes late, so I think it had already kind of started at 7:30. The host was Char Rampton. I've seen her quite a few times now, so I don't feel like I've missed anything, but I did happen to take in most of it, and the I guess it's the best part of her comedy while hosting was when she talked about how she was at a guy's place, and the guy played some music, and apparently one of the choices for music was a monkey or a chimpanzee making that noise that they do. And that was basically the soundtrack at that moment in time. I guess the other one, it was some other song or some other track that kind of either set the mood or that was what was available. And Char was, talking about, blowjobs, and it's going to be hard to do that when kind of hard to do that kind of job with that kind of music playing, and apparently Monkey Noise is the winner, I guess, according to her. So the fact that she did the voice and acted out the monkey chimpanzee um, track, that was super hilarious. People found it funny. I could feel it in the crowd. Lots of people liked her set. I guess the other thing was the role playing, and she just kind of like goes on a rant of all these scenarios of the role play, and talks about I think it was the whole, you know, you're in the middle of nowhere, you're pregnant, um, the father to be of the kid was like a chef. I think that's how it goes. She might have changed it up a little bit. But honestly, she did really great up there, and this crowd really liked her. I would say she was an 8.5 out of 10. Um, then she brought on the featured opener. It was Tommy Brennan. He's from like out of state or something, and I believe his I guess the IG handle that he has is Some Kid Tommy. So that was his Instagram handle. Oh man, the guy was pretty funny. Um, got the crowd, from what I remember, laughing almost the entire set. Um, I think he had talked about. I think he even talked about his girlfriend. Um, um, I think he did do some crowd work, and um, I guess somebody like close to the front row had said the word boo, according to what was said during the crowd work, and I think Tommy like wanted to bring up um, like uh, what was it? It was either something that was, I guess it was somewhat unconventional about how they met or what they do on first dates or something, and then all of a sudden, um, I guess the person in the first or second row, probably a lady, had then said the word boo, and then Tommy Brennan like wanted to point out, oh, they're like, yeah, boo, boo to that. Although I don't know if that was something similar to what I heard from another comic, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, from like it felt like 15 to 20 minutes as a featured opener. Um, Tommy Brennan was just making everybody laugh, and most of the room was laughing for most of his 15-20 minutes that he had, and man, I think he's gonna do pretty well going forward. Um, I would say Tommy Brennan was a 9 out of 10. Um, I really enjoyed it. And then you got your headliner, Kelsey Cook, first time seeing her. Um, I remember she talked about how she was living with her boyfriend during the pandemic, and they lived in like, um, I guess they lived out in like Washington or Montana, one of those mountain states, and I remembered she talked about how she brought the premise of like when boyfriends or husbands, when they go to the bathroom and you only have one bathroom, and you end up like going number two for like 45 minutes. And I guess a lot of guys could kind of relate, and a lot of wives and girlfriends can also relate. And I guess apparently one time they do have a cat. Apparently, Kelsey Cook said to the crowd that so there are those inconveniences of just having one bathroom, and you sometimes don't want to lose the mystery that, you know, people go to the bathroom. So she mentioned that one time her and her husband, or her and her ex-boyfriend or something, it was the guy she was living with, I want to say husband, apparently they synced up their bodies. So apparently one time, I guess her husband or ex-boyfriend or something, and mentioned how she texted that she wanted to send an emoji, two emojis, to indicate that, you know, there's an emergency happening and she needs to use the bathroom. But apparently, with the emoji of a siren and I guess a fire, that was supposed to be an indication that there's an emergency with her. But apparently, the husband or ex-boyfriend had ignored that text with the emojis, and she ended up going number two in an Amazon Prime box, and that was funny. She'd also mentioned how her dad is a little bit over supportive. She mentioned that she wanted to start an OnlyFans, and had everybody imagine that you're my dad and you open up the OnlyFans and then you see my daughter. I cannot see that. So that was funny with the Amazon stuff and the OnlyFans, and she did talk about merchandise on stage, and she did really well. I really enjoyed it. I would say Kelsey Cook was a 9.3 out of 10. She's really good. Made a lot of people laugh. That's the important part. So, as I was trying to leave, I got my picture of all three on stage. Kelsey did mention that Tommy Brennan and Shar Rampton were going to join her on stage, and everybody was free to take some pictures because you weren't allowed to take pictures in the show, which I get. And then so that was Friday night. I enjoyed it. Then Saturday night. So I mentioned before, I did not know the schedule for the UFC pay-per-view events, and so I bought the ticket for Brad Williams, who has some sort of special out. Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. So that was a lot of fun at American Comedy Company. I did run into Jim Pine and his wife or girlfriend. So I think her name was Cheryl or Kristen, something like that. So it was kind of nice to talk to them after the show. I'm glad I got a picture of all three comics on stage. I mean, I don't have to take a selfie with all the comics, but just to have a picture of who was on stage that night does help a lot when I categorize all these pictures. So. So after the show, I did go get some stuff from let's see. Yeah, I got to take a picture of all the comics on stage, so that's like, for me, like the bare minimum. Since I can't take pictures of them individually while they were performing, they had that rule in place. So yeah, Brad Williams. I ended up parking on let's see. Found parking downtown. It was about 2 blocks away from Bevelwood Theater. This show was actually scheduled over a year ago. Now that over a year has passed, see Brad Williams live. Hey, guess what? He did some meet and greet photo opportunities after the show, which is pretty cool of him. Let's see. What about it? So I found parking, and I realized that if you stay in your car for over 45 minutes and showtime is up in 15 minutes, and to walk it will it will so I found parking, and I ended up walking up to the front, got scanned in by the metal detector, and then I just simply had to go through the first door after I passed the ticket takers, and I sat, I guess you could say it was the 14th row of orchestra for Brad Williams. The host was yeah, it was somewhat close. I like that part of the orchestra, not too overpriced. Um, the host was Quincy Weekly, cool guy, made a lot of people laugh. Um, um, let's see. Yeah, he did talk about um, hmm, he he did talk about the LBG community. Um, he did mention that they should include XL people, since they're gonna use the alphabet in such a way, and the people laughed at that. Um, Quincy did make a lot of people laugh in that theater. I could hear it. I would say Quincy was an 8.7 out of 10. Um, I mean, he also had like um, um, let's see, 8.6 for Quincy Weekly, and then JB Ball was next. He talked about the story about he keeps getting flagged, and they always seem to point out that he has been being, he got searched. He always sets off the detector, and of course a female um, inspector. Um, Some funny guy talk about he was at the TSA metal detector machine, and he asked the lady that was working the I guess security, uh, asking why does he always get flagged, and he said that he would never forget what this lady said. Um, I guess it was that um, apparently he has a big junk, and it triggers the machine, and he said that he was flattered, and um, everybody laughed at that. And then JB Ball does talk about the guy on Big Brother who said the N word, and then he tries to explain it, saying, oh, she wasn't funny, and let's see. He also has some merchandise he wanted to sell. Apparently there was the term used, narwhal, and I guess it's referring to a whale. So yeah. JB Ball did talk about how everybody's looking at racism wrong, and just thinks that everybody just needed some sleep for being racist, and he's trying to reenact it like, oh, you know, I'm the chief of commanders. What was it? Merchandise. Got the crowd laughing. I think he did. JB Ball was talking about I think he was talking about well, not yeah, JB Ball was just talking about he travels a lot, and then talked about the lady in security who wanted to explain in a nice way that he had a big junk and it triggers the metal detector. And then he did talk about dogs are better than kids, and the kids should have should be on a leash. He kind of ended by saying, your kids should be on a leash. And it got everybody laughing. So yeah, JB Ball, I would say he was a 9 out of 10 for his comedy. And then we brought out the headliner, Brad Williams. And I'm glad I got to see his full 1 hour set. I am so happy. It was quite a pleasure to see a great set like that. He got everybody laughing. He talked about how he had sex with a woman that was over 300 pounds, and he was 100 pounds, and then had everyone really imagine that this is actually happened to him. It's happened in real life, supposedly. And he talked about how he got on top, but because his limbs don't touch anything, he's a floater, and then told the girl, hey, I can't do anything, I don't know what else to do here. And then the lady said, "Don't worry, I got this." So that was pretty awesome to hear that story. Um, and then I guess Brad Williams acted out exactly what she was gonna do, and then apparently picked him up and then did the gesture that they were gonna have sex while he was hard. So I guess that worked. Um, and then he talked about, he was on a website, dating website. It was like Thrinder. I guess it was a three-way mixture of Tinder and Hinge. And apparently he met his wife that way because apparently they were scheduled to do a three-way date, but the other lady backed out of the date, and so he got to hang out with the other lady that stayed, and he ended up proposing to her, and that was the Chinese lady he kept talking about. And apparently she is a world-class martial artist, and he's attracted to her, and now they have a daughter, so that was a great story. So like I talked about his personal life, talked about him touring. He also talked about having like disabled people at his shows, and he did mention how this one disabled person did not have any arms, did not have any legs, and then he talked to the disabled person, and someone has said, "You can't say those things to him." And then the thing is, Brad was trying to explain to everybody that, he's not really trying to offend anybody, and he wants to know that disabled people want to be treated equally, and it's not meant to be treated like a major disease or anything, but like they want to be treated like everybody else. And he told everybody, this disabled guy had asked him, "What do you like about his show? Or what you don't like about the show?" And then the guy who was disabled said to him, "Well, the ticket prices are pretty high." And then he said, "I wish I had more money because I wouldn't mind so much about the ticket price. But I was married and my ex-wife took half of everything." And everybody laughed because how he phrased it, the timing was great, and everybody was just laughing their ass off. So, of all the lot of things he said, some of those I actually remembered, and honestly, I'm glad I got to see him. I was supposed to sell that ticket to watch the UFC 297, but I couldn't find anybody to take the ticket, so I'm glad it actually worked out. At some point, I'm gonna rewatch UFC 297. But yeah, after the show, so Brad, I would say he was simply a 10 out of 10. Great show. I really enjoyed it. And after the show, I got my opportunity. He said that the meet and greet for photos, it was after the show, so everybody was going to be outside the theater, like in like the lobby, not out in Foreman, like in the hallway. So, yeah. So I finally got to meet Brad Williams. I got my picture with him, and I had to say something, and I introduced myself as Tony, and I told him, I asked him, do you think Roman Reigns will be champion at WrestleMania? And he just told me that he thinks Cody is going to dethrone him at WrestleMania to become the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion. So that's pretty cool. We had a little conversation. I could tell he was a little tired, but I'm really glad I stuck it out and I got to meet him, talk to him a little bit, and got a picture with him. So I will cherish that memory forever. Um, I did see JB Ball in the merchandise line. I said, "What's up?" He acknowledged me. Um, Overall, great show. I liked all three comics. That was a great lineup to have for three guys. Um, so I'm pretty happy that I got to do this. Great week of comedy, and can't wait for the next few shows. Um, just to run through, the Kansas City Chiefs did beat the Buffalo Bills. Bills missed the field goal with under 2 minutes to go. It went wide right. Chiefs went to the championship, AFC championship. They now face the number 1 seed, the Baltimore Ravens, who they were tied 10-10 with the Houston Texans at halftime, but in the second half they just ran out of the gate and they beat the Texans 34-10. It was a blowout. So Ravens and Chiefs for the AFC championship for the right to be in the Super Bowl 58. That's pretty awesome. And then on the other side, the NFC Championship game is going to be the 49ers, who barely beat the Green Bay Packers. They had to come back in the second half, but the 49ers pulled it out. And the Lions, they were kind of toe-to-toe with the Detroit Lions were toe-to-toe with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Lions were able to get ahead. And they got the interception with under 2 minutes to go to seal the deal, and Detroit Lions are now going to the NFC Championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. So that Final Four for the Super Bowl 58 is going to be pretty awesome, and I'm picking. I think it's going to be Ravens and 49ers, and I think the Ravens will beat the 49ers. But, dude, if the Chiefs and Lions make it to the Super Bowl, that's going to be epic. The world's going to end, and the world's going to end even more if the Detroit Lions defeat either the Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs. Stay tuned and watch. Those games are on Sunday. One game, I believe, is at 12 o'clock, and the other game is at 3:30. So I'm going to be watching. So I can't wait for that. Oh, and the main event of UFC 297, Sean Strickland, the champion, middleweight champion, he faced off with the challenger, Dricus du Plessis. It was a 5-round war. Sean Strickland got bloodied up. Du Plessis got a black eye. He got popped in the face in the first round, but Du Plessis ends up winning by split decision. Two of the judges got a 48-47 for him, and then the other judge gave it 48-47 for Sean Strickland. So kudos to Du Plessis for winning the middleweight championship, and going forward, Du Plessis might have 3 challengers. Might be rematching with Sean Strickland, might be facing Israel Adesanya, and there's also the dark horse with Hamzat Chimaev. So can't wait to see what happens. So that's it for me, guys. Great comedy shows. I'm glad I went. A lot of great fights. Can't wait to rewatch them. A lot of great football playoffs. Super Bowl is coming upon us. And oh yeah, guys, I'm going to a few shows this next few days. I'm going to Crazy Woke Asians at the Mic Drop on Thursday night, and I'm going to the Flappers in Burbank to see Maya Stillman and Sarah Holstead. So a lot of great comedy coming up this week, and football obviously on Sunday, and of course the Royal Rumble Royal Rumble is on Saturday. I'm going to a party. My buddy is hosting, so I'm gonna bring some food. So yeah, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Talk about more about food. More sports and more comedy. So sports, food, and comedy. That's what I'm here for, guys. All right, you know the saying goes. Boom! Tiggy Maximus signing off, baby. Later, guys.